Welcome back to the Magic Behind the Ukrainian Actors featuring Hugh Henley. So, as you could see, we had to talk a lot again, and so it's always better to have a second part. So, enjoy it. Is there a role which you would love to play but didn't have the chance yet to play this role?
Um, well, I think generally speaking, I'm quite often a supporting actor, which is okay. But supporting actors don't really get the chance to stretch their legs or stretch their wings and fly. Um, I've worked with a lot of pretty famous actors, particularly in Poland. Um, Mostly helping them with scenes and castings and self tapes. And quite often, if they get the role, they are shooting feature films, and it can be for weeks. So, generally speaking, I would love the chance to shoot for more than 1 or 2 days, because
Yeah,
over a period of time, your character is developing and changing.
yeah,
And so, yeah, that's one thing talking generally. Um, but we spoke in the build up to our conversation today about my roles, and most of the time I play this nasty guy.
yeah. And you are good
And
in it.
thank you. I take great pleasure in it.
I
Um,
bet.
yeah, it's kind of fun. Um, I find, look, I don't have a problem with that. I find I'm pretty good at it. Um,
And
uh, that, that's fine.
yeah, I think in those Dramatize Me and Love Buster videos, you are more bad than in your verticals. Because sometimes
Yeah, yeah,
you being really ruthless and sometimes abusive. So
yeah.
and
I mean, look. Honestly, Bianca, sometimes these roles are not that easy.
yeah,
Look, I know I'm pretty good at these roles, but they're not that easy. I mean, I remember a love buster I did in Poland, and it's one of my favorites. I'm most actors don't really like to watch themselves, but I watched this episode and I was pretty pleased with my performance. But I had to choke my female colleague,
mm,
and it was pretty brutal. Look, I'm not, I know my image is like, this sort of Bruce Willis type guy and blah blah blah, who likes to be a bit abusive and nasty, but I'm not really like that. And it's especially when it comes to women. If you have to get physical with a woman, it's not really nice. And
no, it's not.
yeah, and and some of our verticals are pretty edgy. And we
Yeah,
shot one. I shot one the other week, and I had to be. I'm trying to think of the correct words. It was bordering on sexual assault,
hmm,
and my uh, my well, she was the lead actress. She's smaller than me. She's quite petite, and being physical to a petite woman, sexually abusive. Yeah, it's quite tough. And I remember in Poland I was working with an actress called Eva Kasprzak. She's famous. She's a grand lady of theatre, and she was doing these monologues which were quite brutal. And she told me, Hugh, when I get home at night, I'm still carrying my character,
yeah,
and you can totally understand how actors slide into depression,
definitely.
addiction, alcoholism, problems in relationships. Because honestly, Bianca, when you're doing a role, sometimes and don't forget, we shoot 24/7 sometimes. Like I have come on set at 6 a.m. for my first scene, and they've been shooting all night. Now, if you finish shooting at 11 o'clock at night, you go home, you're tired, you're sometimes cold, you're hungry, but you still carry this role.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be nice to play a light-hearted role. So I was saying I quite enjoy playing a character who's slightly sexually ambiguous, a little bit camp, because it's kind of the yin and yang. It gives me, I'm not always a brutal actor, you
Yeah.
know. So, yeah, I'm happy for whatever role I get, but I kind of know what I'm good at. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, but I think if actors or actresses play a role where they have to go out of their comfort zone,
Mm.
shows the most what they are able to play. So sometimes it's interesting to see, but yeah, they show too often in those verticals and mini movies the violence against females. And I know some actors worldwide, they start to try to change something because it's not necessary, you know?
Well, no, absolutely. But I do remember having a conversation on set a few months ago because we're doing some edgy stuff with the verticals,
Yeah.
and 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 they're good, and I like that. You know, we all want something a bit edgy. You know, we're adults, and if you're making adult drama, let's make it edgy. But I do remember saying to one of my colleagues, and I was serious, when are we going to have an edgy gay um, um,
Vertical.
storyline? Sorry, storyline. Yeah.
In
When I say
America, they
gay,
had already some verticals where it's all about some gay actors
well,
in their role.
yeah, well, I was specifically saying men on men, a gay, a homosexual, as opposed to lesbian, because we've certainly had some themes where we've had female lovers, and it's a big question. Um, are is our audience ready for that? Now that's what the people in the office and the
I
script
can
writers
tell,
will decide.
I
You know,
can tell you, like I said, there are some verticals from the States where they
right?
have the storyline to gay men who had the
Oh,
role.
okay,
So they started it over there already. And
right. Mhm.
I will find those names out and I can send it to you so you can maybe take a look at it.
Sure, sure.
I will do it afterwards. But I think it's in 2025, even those verticals should be kind of like a role model for the situation of life. Because many people look at this and some people are really thinking it's really like that, how they are acting in those movies, and it
Mhm.
isn't. So you have to bring up some subject which is necessary, what's happening in the world, you know? So sometimes they need to educate those the audience.
Mhm.
I don't want to say they have to, but sometimes it's maybe not bad. It's my own opinion. So um, yeah, and it's the same, like you said, you playing mostly side roles, and I don't want to offend you, but it's maybe because you're a little bit older than the most lead actors, so that's why maybe you don't get a lead role. But you can see it also, for example, Hennady Popenko. He is not the lead role, but he have in some verticals some really good presence in there, and why not? And it's you guys are amazing in it.
Thank you, thank you.
And it's entertained us a lot. I mean, I know you have a schedule, and I would love to go on talking to you. Um,
Well, no, I'm okay. So you can,
it's
I
okay.
will let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Because what I wanted to know is how do you deal with the situation that the Ukrainian verticals become so popular worldwide and you have so many people in the community who start to recognize you to love what you are doing, how you deal with the situation. Because I guess many people will send you DMs.
Well, Bianca, I'll be honest with you, it is tough being a star. Living as a superstar can be very tough.
Yeah.
No, Bianca, come on. Um, no, look, I don't, I do get recognized occasionally. That's true. I was in a trailer for a movie called Kill Room, and sorry, Kill House, and I got quite a few texts that evening because the trailer was in the cinema, and my role was pretty cool. I was a CIA director, and how do I deal with that? I think Ukraine, for a really famous actor, I'm, I get recognized occasionally. Yeah, it's true, but not like a superstar. I think Ukraine is a little bit like Poland. It's a society which is not will let a famous person have a coffee in a coffee bar alone. They're not going to be mobbed as other people are in other countries. So I think it's relatively easy for our big superstars in Ukraine to live fairly normal lives. But I will tell you, I mean, I did have a funny situation before I became an actor, and I was in South Africa. I worked as a for a travel company, British travel company, and I was in Soweto, and we were visiting Nelson Mandela's birthplace.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wearing a leather jacket, and it was before my vegan days. I'm wearing a leather jacket now, but it's one of these fake leather ones, but it's pretty cool. And I was standing on the corner, and I had this brown leather jacket, bomber jacket, and I had Ray-Bans on. And suddenly I heard these kids yelling and screaming, and I looked on the corner, and there was about 20 black kids, and they said, Bruce Willis, Bruce Willis. And they ran over. They just ran over. They mocked me. And I was like, what do I do? Do I burst their bubble and say, look, I'm not Bruce Willis? And I thought, you know what? Just sign the autographs.
Yeah, you are double
So I
game.
did. Yeah. So I did. So I did. So yeah, sadly or thankfully, I'm not so famous that I get recognized like that. But yeah, it does
I
happen,
mean,
and it's kind of nice. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I know that the community worldwide is growing,
Yeah.
especially the Ukrainian verticals, because, like I say in every interview, the big difference between the Ukrainian verticals and the verticals from all over the world is the storylines don't repeat themselves so often.
Right.
Actually, the verticals don't repeat themselves, the storylines. In
Yeah.
the mini movies, they will repeat sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's always unique.
Yeah.
And that's how I like those verticals because the makeup department, the costumes, the locations. I mean, Ukraine must be so beautiful, and that's always great to see. And those storylines are amazing, actually. Okay, a big difference is too that the Europeans are more open-minded, so the steamy scenes are a little bit more steamier than in some other countries. But
Yeah.
um, I like it if you don't watch a vertical and say, "Hold on, I guess I saw that in another one, just with other actors, and the storyline was a little bit different, but it's almost the
Yeah.
same. It's not
Yeah.
happening in the
Yeah.
Ukraine." I don't
Yeah.
want
I
to
mean,
say that the movies in America, Australia, or whatever are bad. Not at all. I love them too. I watch them a lot. But that's a difference which I recognized that the storylines don't repeat themselves so often.
yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. You know, the one of the storylines I did with a couple of actors, Sasha Soroka, I was with a couple of months ago, and the storyline was pretty edgy. I mean, it was an erotic thriller,
Okay.
um, and but I was lucky. I was at the premiere. We usually have a screening for the cast and crew in Ukraine, in Kiev, and I went to the screening, and I was. It was the first vertical I had seen on the big screen.
Okay.
It looked fabulous. It really. So there are so just to remind your audience, if some of them are unfamiliar, the verticals are usually um, watched via an app,
Yeah.
and you normally get the first 8 or 9 episodes for free. Now, each episode is a micro episode, 1 to 3 minutes. And there
Okay.
are usually about 70 of these episodes.
Yeah.
So you're watching a feature film in 1 to 2 to 3 minute episodes. And each scene is, wow, that's interesting. And I watched all 70 episodes, I think it was. And
Do you know,
immediately after,
do you remember the name of the vertical?
no, you know, I'm not, you know them better than I do.
What was the
I,
movie about? Let me tell me, I can tell you the name.
um, what was the movie about? Well, it was sexual. It was one of them was a mafia boss. One of them was a mafia boss, but he was trapping um, this this guy owed him money, of course. This guy owed him money, and the only way he could get the money
Yeah.
back is to
Sold to
take
the
his daughter.
it
Yeah.
was sold to the possessive mafia boss with Artem Plunder, Alexandra Soroka, and Sergei Denga.
Yes. And um, you know, the story. My point was, it was an erotic thriller, but it was beautifully filmed. It really looked good, and immediately I watched it. I texted Alexandra, Sasha, and I said, Sasha, I just watched it. You guys were magnificent.
Yes.
Really, they.
Yes.
It wasn't cheesy. It wasn't melodramatic. They were really good,
Yeah.
and I watched all 70 episodes, and it was beautifully edited, it was beautifully color corrected,
Yeah.
it looked like a real cinematic experience.
Yeah.
Um, so and it was shot in Ukraine. We have incredible locations here. It's a movie maker's dream to
Yeah.
shoot in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Um, and you know, we in fact last week I must tell you, quite a famous director was in town because he wants to do a Ukrainian themed movie. His name is Krzysztof Lang, and Krzysztof is a veteran of veteran Polish director. He's got a huge CV: theater, soap operas, feature films. He's got a huge CV of filmmaking, and he was in town, and you know, he wanted some to have lunch, and we met a few times. And he was actually caught in an air raid at night, so he really, right above his head, the bombs were falling. But my what I wanted to say is, as far as filmmaking goes, Ukraine is fabulous, and we get on with it. We get on. We just do it. You know, there are challenges, sure. And as far as the storylines go, the vertical you're talking about, it was edgy, but the funny thing is, you don't see any nudity,
Yeah.
but
You
it's
you
erotic.
kind of see nudity, but
Yeah,
you don't, because they do it in a decent
yeah,
way. It's
yeah.
very erotic, but
It's
you don't really
suggestive.
see something.
Yeah, and honestly, the um, connection, the chemistry between Alexandra and Artem
Yeah.
was wow. It
Uh,
was. Wow.
It's the same. Alexandra has chemistry with all the other lead actors too, because there are
Yeah,
not
yeah,
many
she does.
lead actors and actresses, and you see it. You can see that they like each other, and you can see the
Yeah,
chemistry, and
yeah,
that's what I like too. And I mean, there are so many ladies in this business in the Ukraine who are really amazing in what they are doing. For
yeah,
example.
yeah, yeah,
Um, because if you say it's very erotic, the vertical, I only can ask which one, because almost all of them are like this, um,
yeah.
almost
Hmm.
all, and
Hmm.
there are so great actresses like Lee Berlinska, Valeria Fokina,
Yes, yes, yes.
Anastasia Ivanyuk, and so on and so on. There are so many great actresses, and they're doing a great job, and they are extremely beautiful.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, look,
Males
look,
and females. The Ukrainians
male.
are good-looking
Yeah.
people.
Well, that's. I mean, look, that's the beauty about being an actor. Even I'm not as young as the others, but you do get some roles. I mean, I worked with Agnieszka Holland, pretty famous director, Polish film director, and the film was called Mr. Jones. Uh, I think it was released as Oberwertel Jones in Poland, and that debuted at Berlinale. And to see yourself at Berlinale was pretty exciting. But what I wanted to say is, when I got the script, when I won my casting, and I got the script, my first scene was 1933 in a Moscow hotel, in a jazz bar, at an orgy. And it was, you know, to be told to arrive on set, and the set was incredible. Everyone wearing these wonderful costumes.
Mhm.
1933, 1930s
I love
costumes.
those eras.
Oh, to be told, okay, Hugh, you're in the corner. Um, I want you to sit in the corner. And then he just gestured, come, come. And this girl walked over, early 20s, boa, feather boa, long cigarette like they had in the 1930s, pearls, naked. That's it. Um, this is Maria. She's going to sit on your lap. Nice to meet you, Maria. Because the scene was a very decadent scene from 1933 with British diplomats,
Mhm.
American diplomats, Moscow elite. So there was jazz, there was drugs, there was music. And, when you're sitting there, and I'm talking to her, and she's a fabulous actress and a beautiful looking woman. But I had to remind myself, I'm being paid to sit here with a beautiful naked woman and act
I
with
guess
one of.
it's good. There are worse jobs you could do, right?
There are worse jobs you could do, yeah, and it turned out pretty well. Yeah, and I was working, and I acted opposite James Norton, and that's yeah, he's a good actor. It's pretty intimidating when your first scene is with your first feature film is with James Norton, and yeah, and yeah, it was something else. And sitting in the green room with Peter Sarsgaard, Maggie Gyllenhaal's husband. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, I wish you luck that you get. No, you said in June you start to shoot this feature film.
Yeah, yeah. I have a role in Lubomir Levitsky's film Kill House, and it's a thriller. It's a real Hollywood style thriller.
Great.
Uh, the trailer is online. I can send you the link. It looks fabulous. It's gritty. It's about the war. It involves real Ukrainian soldiers.
Hmm.
Um, the realism is incredible. In some scenes, there are Black Hawk helicopters. Um, it's gritty and it looks fantastic. So I've got a role in that, a small role, but quite an important role in at the end of June. We're shooting, so it will be in the cinema in this year. That's the aim. So yeah.
But only in Ukraine or worldwide?
No, worldwide.
Ooh,
The script is in English. It will be
good.
shot in English, but where the Ukrainians are speaking to each other, of course they will speak
They will
Ukrainian.
have subtitles. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Or they have dubbing. Here in Germany, we have a huge dubbing scene.
right.
Maybe they will translate it directly, but sometimes they do some subtitles. But most of the time, they're dubbing everything.
Yeah, I think they will have subtitles possibly. I mean, the languages involved, of course, in this film will be English,
Yeah.
Russian, and Ukrainian, and there will probably be other languages involved as well because, I live in this not particularly comfortable block of flats, but we've got many nationalities. Downstairs there's a girl, a journalist from Moldova. There's an Australian who's training Ukrainian soldiers. So we've got a few nationalities in Kiev. So yeah.
That's amazing. And you can tell us if you know when this cinema movie is coming out. Give me some information. Uh,
Yeah, I will get. Oh, yeah, of course. Look, it depends. They're probably aiming for some festivals at the end of the year, I
yeah.
think, maybe. So I guess they will be shooting in June. He works very fast. He's a great, great director, really nice to work with. And I would say he will be shooting probably 40 days. Um, End of June, maybe beginning of July, probably editing August, September, out October, maybe. I don't know.
But as a vertical actor, you are used to have fast shootings because you don't have a long schedule for it, just a few days to shoot a whole movie. So you are used to it.
Oh, oh, look, listen, verticals are incredible. They shoot. Um, when you realize there's 70 episodes, okay, they're only 1 or 2 minutes. Often they're shot in a few days. No, really.
Now I know
These are incredible.
worldwide the verticals are filmed in 7 to 10 days.
Yeah, yeah.
That's it.
Um, yeah, it is 7 to 10 days, and quite often they will shoot around the clock. We have, one of the things you need, Bianca, your viewers need to understand is we have martial law in Ukraine. That means I cannot be on the street after midnight. At
Hmm.
midnight, you must be at home. If you're not, you will be arrested or you could be arrested. They're not so crazy here. I quite often go out after midnight to feed the cats on the street. But so those are the limitations, those are the restrictions. You've got to finish shooting by a certain time because if not, your actors can't get home.
Yeah.
So that's tricky. Now, the way around that, of course, is that the verticals are shot through the night.
Yeah.
So I have arrived on set at 11 p.m., knowing I'm likely to be shooting my first scene around 1:30 a.m. Now, if you work that out, that means when I finish shooting, I can't go home. Well, yeah, true. But the curfew, you cannot be on the street between midnight and 5 a.m.
Hmm.
So if I arrive on set at 11:30 p.m., I will finish after 5 a.m. That's the way they schedule it. Okay. Um, they will schedule it so I finish after 5 a.m. and then take a taxi home or something.
Yeah.
But we've got those restrictions, you know?
No, it's understandable.
Mm.
So my last question actually is there coming out soon a new project of yours? like a vertical or something. Do you know something? If you can say something.
Um, you know what? I'll be honest with you. Quite often we don't know when they come out. You know when they come out. Someone will text me and say, "Oh, you just saw this great vertical you're in, blah blah blah," or something like that, or Lovebuster, or Dramatize Me. And honestly, I had forgotten about it.
Yeah,
You know,
I was
so
talking a few times about it. I mean, I will publish something on our fandom page on Instagram. If we figure out there's a new release coming out, we will inform everyone. But
yeah,
sometimes we don't really recognize it earlier too. But thanks God, there are only 4 apps where the vertical's been shown. It's Drama Shorts, My Drama, Drama Box, and recently Real Short. Real Short is the most popular app in the vertical space. NASA just brought a vertical out there, and as I remember, is in I guess in 8 hours they had over 4 million viewers.
yeah, it's insane. There was a project recently I shot probably 6 weeks ago. It may be out already. I I was in a hotel room chasing Tanya. It was an erotic thriller again. I
Yeah.
was chasing Tanya in a robe, um, and that's I'm looking forward to seeing that. I can't look.
If I see that, I will inform you immediately.
I can't remember the title of it. So
It's
I'm
okay.
sorry, guys. Look. Honestly, Bianca, what you need to know is quite often because of our shooting schedule, there isn't a title finalized. I
No,
mean,
and
you
they
know,
changed a lot.
they change the titles, so we often go on set with, and you can see the top of the script. There are 4 different possible titles.
Yeah.
So you will ask me, oh, you will say, Hugh, the vampire and the maid. Do you remember this one? And I can't remember it because I don't know what the title. I can't remember the titles.
Yeah.
But if you say, Hugh, you were wearing a white suit, or Hugh, you were a butler, or you were a sheriff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah,
So,
but
have I
you will
got something coming out?
we
Um,
will see. We will
we
see
will see.
and
We will see.
stay tuned. Now, that's fine. And as soon as I figure something out, you will get an information from me.
Perfect.
Hugh, do you want to say anything to the audience out there?
Oh God. Yeah, I mean, look, um, we really appreciate, and I'm talking to you, the audience. We really appreciate the feedback we get. You might think we don't read the comments in on YouTube and things like that, but we do, and some of them are very, very funny. I like reading. Whoever wrote that old pervert, I wanted to murder him. He should be in jail, but he's a good actor. That was nice. That
Yeah.
was nice. So I want to say that we really appreciate you, the audience, and we appreciate your comments. And we appreciate the fact that some of you don't realize we are shooting in Ukraine. Um, and we do try hard. So stay with us and support Ukraine because really the world is in a pretty bad situation now. And you don't think it can happen to you. It can.
It can.
It can. So just stay with us and appreciate your freedom, appreciate democracy, and support creative talent. Locally, in your country,
Yeah.
pay for movies, pay for books, pay for music, because artists can't eat with no money.
That's true.
And support Bianca and her fabulous fandom channels. Because
Yeah.
what you're doing, Bianca, is fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah,
Really.
we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, and our kind of headquarters on Discord, where we have all the filmographies of all the actors, which we know so far. And it's still growing. I mean, right now we have 45 actors and no, 48 actors and 23 actresses, I guess. So we are still growing. I have to figure out who is which person. So if you want to join us, you can see it here in the description on YouTube. And
Follow Bianca, follow the channel, follow her on Instagram and social media, and follow me, and tell everyone to follow us.
I will post your social media links as well in the description on YouTube so you can find him.
You are wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, you. Then take care of the kitties.
I
And I
want to
hope,
say one last thing I want to say is Slava Ukraini. Slava
okay,
Ukraini.
yeah,
Glory to Ukraine, because victory will come.
definitely. I hope so. With all our prayers and thoughts going to you guys. And if you are really busy a few times, just send a live sign on your story or something that we know you are fine. And that's actually, yeah, that helps us to don't be too worried about you guys.
Thanks for your work, Bianca, really. And it was a real pleasure to be invited to give you a few thoughts anyway.
Thanks a lot. And have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Take care.
Thank
Slava
you. Bye.
Ukraini.
Yeah, bye.